Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have an article here with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. He made some statements, and I think the statements are shallow, but let's go and read them, analyze them, and see what's going on with Mr. Blinken. This article comes from Fox News, and this is the title. Blinken says Putin has already failed in strategic objective to end Ukraine's independence. All right, let's see what's going on. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Sunday said that Russian President Vladimir Putin has already failed in his strategic objective to erase Ukraine and end its independence after more than 4 months of conflict. Blinken appeared on CNN. What's CNN? Is that a circus? Name of a circus? No? Okay. State of the Union ahead of the annual G7 summit in Germany and was asked whether Russia was winning the months-long conflict following overnight attacks on the Ukrainian capital of Kiev. And I'm quoting, "When it comes to Putin's strategic objectives, he has already failed." Okay, let's see why. Blinken said, his strategic objective was to end Ukraine's sovereignty and independence, to erase it from the map, to subsum it in Russia. That has failed. So again, his strategic objective was to end Ukraine's sovereignty and independence, to erase it from the map, to subsum it to Russia. Blinken added that a sovereign independent Ukraine will be around a lot longer than Vladimir Putin is on the scene. All right, and it says the Secretary of State's remarks came as Ukrainian officials said that Russia launched missiles on Kiev, striking at least 2 residential buildings and damaging a nearby kindergarten. All right, let's see. Let's see what we have here. So let's unpack the statements of this Secretary of State. First, let's go with the definition. Let's set the ground, the foundation, so we can analyze it based on something, right? We have to, you compare, you contrast, you put some definitions, you agree with some notions first, and then based on that, you analyze. So I'm assuming we all think that the higher you ascend in the government or in an institution, let's say you start as a regular worker over there, and then you get to be, I don't know, a little supervisor or something, and then after that you become a program or whatever, supervisors of the supervisor, and then you become this and you become that. You expect that that's based on the quality of the abilities, the professional abilities of that person. That should be, let's say, in the military, right? Where you get to a rank of, let's say, general. That means you start as a private or whatever, regular foot soldier, and then you got, how do you call it, promoted, and higher. You got more information because you followed orders. You understand. You learn about the strategic, the military strategy and all that, and you're very good. And you go up. You shouldn't go up if you're not good. That should be based on merit. I mean, that's the whole purpose of, you being in charge of me. That means you're better than me. Otherwise, I would be over there, right? Or not. So the same. So the higher you go and the more authority you have, the bigger the company. That means you have to compete with more people. That means you got to be the better, the best, right? Better than everybody else. And you have you're better than three people. It's not a big deal. But if you're better than I don't know, 340 million, let's say the population of the United States roughly, then you got to be very able, not the kind of able, but this kind of able, right? So you expect when a person gets there, and let's say you're a Secretary of State, you have a lot of knowledge, you have a certain way of seeing things, of analyzing things, you speak in a certain way. You're very careful with your words because your words is not like I tell a kid, hey, go left, oh, my bad, go right. It has an impact on very limited number of people. And but when you're a Secretary of State and you say certain things, you state certain things, a lot of people are listening, and they have they have policies changed based on what you said. It's very important to be very, very careful and very precise with the words that you're using. Otherwise, you can create a big problems globally, not only between you and your wife or your boyfriend or whatever. So here, Blinken, he makes some statements in a very general way without supporting his statements. And I think they are very shallow. And I'm going to explain why. Let's get an engineer. When an engineer comes and say, okay, or let's say you want to build a house or a road, you don't talk like this. Hey guys, we're gonna build it here. We're gonna need some people. They're gonna show up here. They're gonna just, I don't know, make the road, and that's good, man. We're gonna make the road. Good. Let's go home, and tomorrow we all come here and we do it. You can't talk like that. Why? Because we all know all that takes brains, calculation, planning. How many people? When do they show up? What materials you use, where did you get the materials, who's going to transport the materials, who are the engineers, who are the supervisors, who are the project managers. All these things have to be very well calculated. So when you come over there, you can just say, oh, we're going to just make the road. We're going to do it, man. Yeah. Or say, okay, you have to speak in a precise way. Well, we're going to build this road in about, 5 years? No, you have to say in 3 months. You have to calculate. Everything should be calculated. The project starts here and ends here, and you can't. In the middle of it, someone comes and say, "Oh, you failed to build the road." Well, I'm not done, boy. The same here. Well, Putin failed. Is the war over? No. So you should use different words at this point. As of now, the war is not over. He just used general terms, and I'm gonna analyze now how Blinken thinks. So he says here that, let me see here. Let me begin with the direct quote, which is right here. He said that Putin's strategic objectives, he has already failed. Well, the war is not over. So from the very beginning, his assessment is based on something that is not over. It's like you come and say, hey, Mom, is the cake baked yet? No. Oh my God, you failed. Well, wait, it's in the oven. It's still, in the process of making. Wait until I get it out and say, okay, this is the product. Then you analyze it if it's good or if it's bad. But no, he says it's not good. He comes in the middle of, I didn't think it was like a deadline, 3 months, 4 months. I didn't know it was that. So he's not using, for instance, here, saying, I lost this right here. So it's not like he says Putin, when it comes to Putin's strategic objectives, he has already failed. And then what do you mean he already failed? It's not over. The cake is not baked. And then he says his strategic objective was to end Ukraine's sovereignty and independence. That's not true. That's not true what they're talking about. And even if that's so, is it over? Are the Russians advancing or going back to Moscow? They're advancing. So your statement is wrong. They're working maybe toward that. The process is still going. And they work on that. You can see the house, the foundation, everything going up. You can't just say, oh, you didn't build a house. It's not over. We're still working at that, putting the electricity in it. You know what I mean? It's just, and then he said, to erase it from the map. I never heard that saying in any kind of statements, euphemisms, or we're going to erase it. I never heard that. And I never heard Russia saying that they want to incorporate Ukraine into Russia, like he says here, to subsum it in Russia. So this is the Secretary of State. He is not I don't want to insult anybody, but not a dog catcher. And even if it's a dog catcher, they have to have a schedule and a tactic to catch the freaking dogs, right? So this guy is just, what is he doing over there? To make this kind of statements? That's not very hard to make them. So how come he's got that job? Is it that good as being an actor? I mean, it just upsets me because this is a guy who's in control somehow of my life, and he has a big, important job on this country, and he should be the best of the best. I should be at awe when I see and I hear this guy. I would be like, oh, look at this guy. Oh my God. Wow, I should be impressed, but I'm disappointed. He talks like a kindergarten level. I'm sorry, I don't want to insult the guy, but this is the assessment. He gives generalities and backs it with things that are not there. And this is in charge. This guy is partly in charge. He's the Secretary of State of a country. He puts it on his resume, and all his family from now on is going to say, oh, remember that great-great-great-father? He was the Secretary of State of the United States. Oh, we're a big shot. We're a good family. He was a smart guy. No, he wasn't. I don't think he was. So that tells me that he's over there not because he's a good strategist and what he has to be good at. He's just I kiss your butt here. I make some cocktail parties, I'm a yes man all the time, and there you have it. You eventually get that position. And if you get promoted to that position, maybe in other countries people don't get to that position. They don't get promoted to that position as we do here. So maybe those guys are a little bit more prepared than us. So when Blinken meets, let's say, that was obvious, the Indian foreign minister, Jai Shankar, I can't remember his name, something like that. I apologize. He's a very smart guy. When he meets that guy, the guy mops the floor with Blinken. When Blinken meets Lavrov, the guy, again, takes him to the task. He's like, bend over, Blinken. No, you're already there. So, you know what I mean? And it's embarrassing because you are on this team and you see your guys over there and you wished maybe that guy over there should not be there. Maybe someone else should be there, take his place. And this is not only there. Look at other leaders and how we have them here. Look at the top tier, top guys here in the United States, and tell me that those guys are prepared for to lead, or at least to defend us from danger. And you think, look at Mark Milley, look at the other one, Austin, General Austin. Do you think that, listen to what they say and how they process information. Do you feel confident? I do not feel confident. That even if, I don't even want to get into that. I don't feel confident that those guys are good at their jobs. I'm not. And by listening to them and how they speak, how they process information, how they answer questions without a teleprompter, that's how they are. They're average at best. Average at best. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.